The Nicomachean Ethics of Aristotle.
Read and presented by George Pitropogiannakis.
Book 5, Chapter 12.
Now, a question may be raised whether we have spoken with sufficient distinctness as to being unjustly dealt with and dealing unjustly towards others. First, whether the case is possible which Euripides has put, saying somewhat strangely, "My mother he hath slain." The tale is short. Either he willingly did slay her willing, or else with her will, but against his own. I mean then, is it really possible for a person to be unjustly dealt with his own consent? Or must every case of being unjustly dealt with be against the will of the sufferer, as every act of unjust dealing is voluntary? And next are cases of being unjustly dealt with, to be ruled all one way. As every act of unjust dealing is voluntary, or may we say that some cases are voluntary and some involuntary. Similarly, also as regards being justly dealt with, all just acting is voluntary, so that it is fair to suppose that the being dealt with unjustly or justly must be similarly opposed as to being either voluntary or involuntary. Now, as for being justly dealt with, the position that every case of this is voluntary is a strange one. For some are certainly justly dealt with without their will. The fact is, a man may also fairly raise this question, whether in every case he who has suffered what is unjust is therefore unjustly dealt with. Or rather that the case is the same with suffering as it is with acting. Namely, that in both it is possible to participate in what is just, but only accidentally. Clearly the case of what is unjust is similar, for doing things in themselves unjust is not identical with acting unjustly, nor is suffering them the same as being unjustly dealt with. So too of acting justly and being justly dealt with, since it is impossible to be unjustly dealt with unless someone else acts unjustly, or to be justly dealt with unless someone else acts justly. Now, if acting unjustly is simply hurting another voluntarily, by which I mean knowing whom you are hurting, and wherewith, and how you are hurting him, and the man who fails of self-control voluntarily hurts himself, then this will be a case of being voluntarily dealt unjustly with, and it will be possible for a man to deal unjustly with himself. This, by the way, is one of the questions raised, whether it is possible for a man to deal unjustly with himself. Or, again, a man may, by reason of failing of self-control, receive hurt from another man acting voluntarily, and so here will be another case of being unjustly dealt with voluntarily. The solution, I take it, is this. The definition of being unjustly dealt with is not correct, but we must add to the hurting with the knowledge of the person hurt, and the instrument and the manner of hurting him, the fact of its being against the wish of the man who is hurt. So then, a man may be hurt and suffer what is in itself unjust voluntarily, but unjustly dealt with voluntarily, no man can be, since no man wishes to be hurt, not even he who fails of self-control, who really acts contrary to his wish. For no man wishes for that which he does not think to be good. And the man who fails of self-control does not what he thinks he ought to do. And again, he that gives away his own property. As Homer says, Glaucus gave to Diomed armor of gold for brass, armor worth 100 oxen, for that which was worth but 9. Is not unjustly dealt with, because the giving rests entirely with himself. But being unjustly dealt with does not, there must be some other person who is dealing unjustly towards him. With respect to being unjustly dealt with, then, it is clear that it is not voluntary.